Miguel, I'm your sister. Don't look at me that way. Go back to the dance.
Everything is ready, my darling. Do not be afraid. Soon we'll be together again.
Welcome to Hello, This is the Boom Show. I am Richard. I am joined at the hip, but not at the ship, with Jeffrey. Hello, Jeffrey.
So, when we inevitably are separated, which one of us is the crazy one?
Whoever gets the butt is crazy. Did I say we're connected at the butt?
No, at the hip.
What's the difference?
Well, we both have butts.
You're a liar.
I'm pretty sure I have one.
Okay. Hey, folks, it's been a little bit of a break since I've been recording, and it's not because I don't enjoy talking. I love talking.
You don't have to tell them that.
What I don't love is editing me talking, so I needed a little break, but that shit's over. It's 2016 or whatever. Let's do this. Jeffrey has an awesome blog. It's called Nasoon Tamora. It's a blog.
It is a blog. Someday it'll be updated. Someday.
One day. I'll provide a link to it so you can encourage him to post.
Yes, please encourage.
And Jeffrey, you also contributed to Fang of Joy issue 2.
Are there still copies of that available?
Heck yeah.
What's wrong with everyone? Why have they not sold this out?
I don't know. I sold all the first one because it was cheap.
That's true.
And the second one's nicer, so it's harder to move.
Slightly less cheap, but still pretty cheap.
It's not too expensive. Well, you got a good deal on it.
I did.
We are here to talk about a very important movie. Probably the movie that came out and influenced all other movies that came after it.
Probably, yeah.
I'm talking about Bloody Moon from 1981.
Bloody Moon.
Jess Franco, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to lie. This is amazing. I am very excited tonight.
Me too.
Just so you know, we're going to spoil the plot because, as you probably guessed, the plot is the most important part of Bloody Moon.
We'll tell you up front that at no point will you see a moon bleeding.
Oh, man.
Those moons are staying full and ripe.
And Spanish.
Yes. Where does this actually take place? Do you know?
It takes place in Spain. I know they filmed it in Spanish Town.
Spanish Town, USA?
Alicante, Comunidad Valenciana, Spain.
Okay.
Which I'm very familiar with their country. So I know exactly where they're talking about. It's like the Jupiter, Florida of Spain.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
I didn't think so. It's okay.
I'm going to play a trailer for you because the trailer is friggin' outstanding. Enjoy that and we will talk about this movie more.
Your kiss is cold and icy as death. Your embrace deep as the night. Ava's been murdered.
That's nonsense.
He wants to kill me too.
Bloody Moon. Summer nights filled with horror. A killer whose lust for blood will stop at nothing. Nights of blood. Nights of terror that will leave you breathless. Young girls in search of love and adventure become the prey of a bloodthirsty killer. Now you'll be mine.
Let me go. I'm dying to sleep with him. I can't wait till tonight. I wish you were here now.
Fear will grip you on this holiday of terror. A dream vacation becomes a nightmare. Bloody Moon, a film you won't soon forget. Bloody Moon.
The film opens with a woman pushing a wheelchair with a...
What? It's not a woman. Is it?
What?
Isn't it
thought it was-
Miguel?
I thought it was a woman pushing a woman sitting in a
pushing
wheelchair.
a woman? Oh my god! I guess
Oh.
it could be. It's got,
guess-
well, it's a silhouette. It's the
It's a
fucking
silhouette.
moon, man.
Later-
The moon.
Later, Miguel is pushing, so
Okay.
it could be. I just assumed it was a woman.
You know what? You're probably right. I blame the moon.
I blame it on Rio.
Oh no! Please don't. You can blame pretty much everything on Rio. You know Michael Caine does
He still does.
to this day. Jaws
under-
4. That one's on Rio.
Classic Michael Caine. Right from Zulu to Blame It on Rio, right to Jaws 4. Under this full moon we've been mooning over,
Right.
there's a man with a scarred face. He looks mysteriously like one of the zombies from,
Yeah, he does.
was it Grapes of Death?
Oh, yeah, kind of like that.
What were you
Sure.
thinking?
I was thinking he looks a little bit like some of the meatball faces from Nightmare City. I mean, he's not quite fully meatball face yet, but he's getting there.
That was
Anyway, his
awesome.
name is Miguel. I kind of already spoiled his name.
Oh, yes. He's talking to his sister, sort of. We have some overdubbed dialogue to start us off.
I think they're telepathic because she speaks to him telepathically, telling him that he's a pervert, basically, and that he should just go to a party and, dance.
The abruptness with which she says, "Go to the dance," is like you just know you're in trouble already. But it's the good kind of trouble. We cut to a disco dancing scene where some young people are grooving. They're making love in the bushes.
They're making love in the bushes also on like a lounging pool chair that's like 15 feet from the pool. And they say like, hey, let's have sex here. No one will see us, even though the party is literally 20 feet away.
The music is outstanding, of course.
I think we need to establish where exactly we are.
Yes.
Because we are, all of these characters, this disco party and the Miguel and his sister Manuela and the old wheelchair lady they're bringing around, they are all at this language camp.
Oh, yes.
A Spanish language camp. Somewhere in this little hamlet in Spain, I guess. Or I guess it's a seaport. Port town. I don't know what it is. Anyway, it's in Spain. It's near some water. They are learning languages. The old lady owns the whole shindig.
Yes, she does.
Yeah. The whole kit and caboodle, as you might say. And Miguel and Manuela are her niece and nephew, who are
Yes.
they're also siblings. And there's also some weird stuff going on between them, but we'll get to that later.
Yes.
So these people at the disco party are all students at this language camp, I guess.
They're just crashing. There's no way that many people go to this stupid school.
We see how many it is later on, several years later, and it's not that many.
No.
I mean, how many people really need to go learn Spanish in Spain?
It's like, duh, don't they have Twitter?
What?
Or was it? Rosetta Stone?
Rosetta Stone.
Same thing.
Twitter is the new Rosetta Stone.
I learned all kinds of languages. This couple breaks away. They're making love on the chair.
Right.
The dude is very sexy when he's wearing his Mickey Mouse mask. And it's like, it's not just a little mask. It's like a rubber, your whole head is covered in this Mickey Mouse thing. It's not healthy.
I think that's good, though, because we see he takes off the mask because obviously, the person he's making out with doesn't want to continue making out with him while he's wearing this mask. So he puts it down and a shadowy figure comes and picks it up, who will soon learn is Miguel, and no big surprise. We know he's going to go attend the party and, he's got this horrifically scarred face, so he needs something to cover it up. Anyway, What I think is interesting here is that, alongside Lucio Fulci's New York Ripper, we can see that the Europeans rightly associate Disney characters with, violence, perversion, and madness.
I love it. If only he talked like this, it would be great. That would have been fucking perfect.
Especially when he's seducing the girl in the next scene. That would...
He starts dancing like he's on something really fun because he is just tearing up the dance floor, and he's mistaken for the guy in the mask whose name is Ralph, and he picks up this lady in hot pants who's dancing, and somehow she's talking and her lips aren't moving. It's really cool.
Yeah.
How she did that.
It's actually an ESP camp. They just don't really advertise that.
ESP stands for Espanol. I really laughed at that. That's my joke.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll laugh at it too.
Okay. They go back to her cabin there, her little her room.
Excuse me. What are they called? Bungalows?
Bungalows. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes, they call them
bungalow.
bungalows.
It's a Spanish thing. We wouldn't understand.
Exactly. They start to make love. She's very excited until she pulls his mask off.
Mm.
And we see that it is scarred up, crunked up face Miguel.
I need to point out that as they are making out and he's taking off her clothes, we see that she has that glitter hot pants or glitter skirt. I'm not quite sure which, but it's all glittery. But anyway, he takes off her shoes very lovingly, and we see that she also has glitter socks.
Oh.
And you may have missed this, but we only get like a very quick glimpse. But she's also wearing a glitter merkin. She really committed.
Wow, she must have borrowed that from like one of Jess Franco's other films. I'm trying to think. I've seen so many. I'm trying to remember the glitter merkin. Was it Blue Rita?
That was the first thing that came to mind. There's definitely a glitter merkin in Blue Rita.
Well, we'll cover it next time, folks.
Okay.
I don't know if I can talk with you about that film. Is that bad?
It's not a horror film.
It might be too intimate.
Maybe.
Or maybe not intimate enough.
Oh.
It's more Entenmann's, like the little dessert cakes. Anyway.
Okay.
She freaks out. He grabs some convenient scissors that are in a sewing kit in her room and stabs her to death.
Mm-hmm.
And when he first stabs her, he doesn't pierce her clay stomach. Did you notice that effect? It looks really bizarre.
On the Severin release of this film, both on DVD and Blu-ray, there's an interview with Jess Franco, as there usually is on most Franco releases. And he talks pretty disparagingly of the film at most times, but he is very complimentary about the special effects. He's like, they did a pretty good job, which is hard to imagine why he'd say that, considering all of the effects that we are about to see.
These are not the worst gore effects I've ever seen. I think
no, but
the stab wounds in what is it? 7 Murders for Scotland Yard.
Mm-hmm.
One lady gets slashed by a knife, and it looks like they slashed her luggage. It's like big luggage skin or something. I watched a VHS rip of this as well. Like, I watched my DVD, and then I watched a download I had that was definitely sourced from a VHS. He opens her up big time. Like, it's a really long, drawn-out stab scene. Was it the same way in the DVD, too?
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the Blu-ray, and there are some inserts of, you can tell they're lesser quality.
Okay.
Of gore scenes at various points. I don't remember that one in particular, but I remember it being pretty brutal.
It's good stuff. And this is the credit sequence, I think. After, it's like a freeze frame.
Freeze frame on her dead face. We get
yes.
Bloody Moon, or whatever the German title is. Die Sage des Todes.
Mm-hmm, which means Bloody Moon.
Sure.
No, I did my best to translate. My last name's Schmidt. I know all the German.
Oh.
No, I don't know.
And then we get a nice stinger on the soundtrack, and we are into this thing.
And what better way to return to the film after the credits than with a Franco cameo?
Oh, man. He's playing a doctor in this cameo, and he looks like the sort of doctor with like a huge gambling debt and free-flowing prescription pad. Like, there's no way this guy is an on-the-level doctor.
Oh,
I wish we found out that he was like a pediatrician or something. That would just really put it over the edge.
They should have had a scene where a real doctor comes in and goes, "Get out of here! Give me my coat back." You know? That would have been awesome.
And then he goes back to being the street urchin we know he is.
Manuela, Miguel's sister, is there to collect her brother, and she's getting the lowdown from the doctor. She's like surprised that he's even being released at all.
I'm telling you, gambling debt. Money is changing hands. What's not clear to me is how long of a gap it's been. Has it just been a few years, a couple months?
2 hours. It's the following day.
It could be 30 seconds. You know, this whole movie's real time.
Miguel is very happy to see his sister. Really, really happy. Like, when he's hugging her, you see like this really honest excitement in his eyes to be reunited with her. Like you would with a lover that you were missing.
Why would that be?
They're on the train headed back to the mansion / school / villa collection of bungalows, 7-Eleven and gas station. No. They're headed over there. And they're on the train. I probably said train already. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And he sees a girl. Miguel sees a lovely lady. And he is immediately drawn to her.
We'll come to know this lady well. She is our heroine. Her name is Angela.
Mm-hmm.
And she is going to... Although she doesn't show up again for quite a while, strangely, she is also going to the language camp.
Yes.
Which appears to be taking place during summer. And we know how, it fares when people named Angela show up at summer camps.
They have dicks.
Yes.
If only that was the reveal in this movie.
Didn't want to spoil it. Well, we never actually find out.
Oh, shit, that's right, because she didn't want to get naked in this movie.
She didn't. That's another thing we learned from that Jess Franco interview. So what happens when Miguel and Angela lock eyes?
As he's staring through her, the lights go out on the train and there's a blood-curdling shriek. And when the lights come back on, she is gone. And Manuela's like, holy shit, did you just kill someone already? We just got on the train.
And we know that he was going to, but for me as the viewer, my first response was, holy shit, did somebody let David Copperfield onto another train?
Oh, man. Terror train. Love it. Of course, Angela is not dead. She is just on the other side of her little train car dealie. What do you call those things?
Train car. Or no, cabin? I guess you call them a train cabin.
Her scarf got stuck in the window, so she screamed bloody murder, which is pretty amazing.
Yes, because that's what you do when you lose your scarf. We personally have, a history with scarves and trains.
Yes.
We know that scarf was actually trying to worm its way out the window to go strangle somebody.
How rude.
To understand this joke, please see our podcast on Amok Train.
Now, speaking of podcasts with inside jokes, right?
See, that was an inside joke that you're going to have to cut out now.
Fuck that. We're keeping it real.
Miguel! You didn't kill her, did you? Why do you keep on gaping at me like that? What am I, Frankenstein's daughter? It's my scarf. It got jammed up while I was trying to pull it from the window. You satisfied?
We cut to the following day. We see a sign very conveniently being put up called the International Youth Club Boarding School of Languages.
I say AKA tennis camp.
Yes.
Because they seem to do just as much tennis as they do learning of languages.
Yep. And topless swimming.
Oh, that's it, yeah.
That's my favorite.
Tennis disco club or disco tennis club, whichever you prefer.
Unfortunately, there is language learning in this movie. We get some of that, too.
It's about as riveting as you might imagine.
Who is putting up this sign?
Oh, it's Paco, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or as my notes call him, Bald Paco. This guy is probably the greatest underused character in this movie.
He shows up very occasionally. I mean, in this scene, we don't really get, full Paco.
Yep.
This is just like, so we become accustomed to his face.
Yes, he's a very special character. I have a feeling that Jess Franco begged the producers to let him play that role. Like, that is such a role
It is
that
like
Franco would have
usually
played.
play. Yeah.
Like, what was it? A Virgin Among the Living Dead? Like, that's same character.
I don't think that's the only film in which he's played that sort of character.
No, not at all.
There's been more.
Yeah. He's being instructed on how to hang the sign properly by Alvaro. Mm-hmm. Alvaro is I almost said the leader of the new school. Huh? 90s rap, anybody? Oh, boy.
I would say he's a young James
Hello?
Caan. Hello?
My joke died.
Yeah, it did.
It's trying to take me with it. Yes, he definitely looks like James Caan. No doubt.
He looks like James Caan, and he is wearing something that I could only describe as a leather chef outfit mixed with the Starfleet's medical officer outfit. It's somewhere in between the two.
If that thing doesn't stop bullets, then I'll be a monkey's uncle. That is a badass freaking thing he's wearing.
Yeah.
Can't even describe it better than you. That was good. He immediately goes into the office where his secretary informs him that they are screwed, that they have money troubles. They should shut this place down. The secretary, whose name I have no idea what her name is. She just cannot stop this defeatist attitude. Like, we should have never done this. And he's depending on the old countess, who's Countess Maria, to help them through it. And the number of students, he says they have 40 students this semester, so everything's going to be fine.
He walks out from his meeting with his secretary to go talk to the Countess and meet with Manuela, too. But on his way there, we have another run-in with Paco. And this, I feel like, is our real introduction to Paco. He is standing up on a balcony in this gigantic mansion in which the Contessa lives, I believe. And Alvaro says something to him, I don't know what. Like some sort of primate, but not anything close to a human being. Paco looks out, blows his cheeks up, and then sticks his tongue out and just goes shaking his head. While holding a hose that he's spraying up into the air. So it kind of looks like he's pissing straight up into the air. It's at this point that we're supposed to realize that Paco is, he is developmentally disabled, we might say.
More human than human.
It's a very sensitive portrayal.
Oh, God.
It's a shame.
Oh, man.
The actor playing Paco did not win an Oscar. But you know what? Some films just get ignored come award season.
What a crime. We meet the Countess, who is a raging bitch. And it's for good reason.
She's not wrong. Yeah.
But she is just mad at the world. She hates her niece, Manuela. She claims that Manuela is just trying to get to her money. Mm-hmm. She doesn't like the school. She thinks it's a terrible idea.
It's a pretty bad idea. She's right about that.
Hey, they got 40 people to show up at this piece of shit.
Well, you know what? It's the only tennis courts in town.
That's right. Tennis courts and...
discotheque.
And, was it mill?
Sawmill, yeah.
Sawmill.
Portside Sawmill, yeah. She's actually pretty funny, the Countess is, in this scene where she's yelling right at Manuela's face, telling her, you're just waiting for me to die, I'll disinherit you, you're plotting against me. Just kind of an unending stream of insults and threats. And Manuela just kind of takes it in stride.
She's like, oh, you, stop making a scene.
Yeah.
She's used to this shit.
I guess, yeah, that's the implication.
That night, the Countess is asleep, or trying to go to sleep, and she's being menaced.
Hold on. Before that, we get It's a motif, a visual motif, you might say.
Yes.
It recurs throughout the film, and that is a shot of Manuela naked staring at the moon.
Oh, of course.
She's communing telepathically with the moon, and the moon's, I don't know, telling her to do something.
Definitely not complaining about our Lena Romay stand-in.
Yeah.
I think Lena Romay would have been better than this actress, but this actress is pretty exciting to look at naked. No complaints there, especially when she puts on that really conservative night dress she wears.
Super conservative, yeah. We'll get to that.
She couldn't afford cellophane to wrap herself in. So.
Well, I think being 1981, this was kind of... Lena was not old at this phase, but she was, not quite the Lena that she used to be. And so
yeah,
she didn't show up in the films and roles all that.
I think she would have been game.
She totally would have been game.
She was busy was it assistant directing or assistant producing?
On this film?
Yeah. Assistant director. So there you go. She's
cool.
like, I can't be the actress too, dude.
I don't think anybody on a Jess Franco film set ever said, I can't.
Very true. So we've seen her naked. The old countess, I swear, is trying to sleep, and someone is menacing her with a light bulb.
Yeah, she's attacked by multiple light sources.
First a light bulb, then a freaking flaming torch.
Yep.
And the torch is stuffed into her face. She screams.
Right. And we imagine, that's the end of the Contessa. But we don't actually hear anything about this for quite some time.
Nope.
Everything just goes on as normal at language camp.
Finally, what the fuck? Well, I'm watching Bloody Moon here. Let's get to the fucking language lessons. We finally get to the language lessons. Alvaro is walking around his students looking very pleased with himself while they sit in their little cubicles listening to their language lessons, repeating back the stuff on the tape. These are not good scenes.
Well, one later on, our last language scene is awesome, and I'll talk about why when we get there. But yeah, early on they're kind of silly.
Now we get to the really important part, the tennis. We go right to the tennis where we finally meet Antonio.
Oh, Antonio.
Antonio is the local stud / gardener.
Gardener and tennis instructor, yeah.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's playing tennis with a young lady, and when that is over, he goes to the pool where most of the characters we're going to be dealing with are topless by the pool. Just flirting, not subtly at all, with Antonio. There's some frolicking. Antonio and another girl get pushed into the pool. Everyone's laughing.
It's very lighthearted hijinks. Yep. Oh, love it.
It's just my college life.
I don't believe that.
No. Not even close. I was the topless one. Oh, I wrote in my notes, they push him in the pool, and I've never been happier in my life. Okay, we get back to Angela. She shows up while the girls are talking. Girls who I'm going to be mixing up for the next hour of this podcast.
Yeah.
We have, let's see, Inga, Eva, Elvira, Rita, Laura, frickin' Justine, and Jezebel, and Larry.
They're not all very important. I think Inga and Eva are the ones I remember.
Of course, Inga's the star. Inga tries to steal the movie from Angela.
Is the breakout star, yes.
What a bitch.
We learn a few things in this scene. All of them, I think, are interesting. One of them, I think it might be Inga, but it could be any one of the others. Says, I'll never understand Spanish. And I wrote in my notes, bullshit, you probably already speak it. Taking it meta for a second.
There you go.
There's also, they're playing crosswords before Angela shows up, and they make a terrible mistake. The question they're trying to answer is a capital offense ending in R, and they decided it's murder, and they write that in. But I'm pretty sure that when they, they fill it out completely, they'll discover that the correct answer was obviously Sylvester Stallone's period comedy Oscar from 1991. Because it's totally a capital offense. I'm just saying, we'll wait and see when they fill that thing out. Anyway,
Nice.
the last thing worth noting is that when Angela shows up, she said that she had a really wild night in some county nearby. They just kind of leave it at that. She's like, yes, maybe I did. That's it. We never know any more about her wild night in that county or why she was gone. Leave it
We
at that.
just know that she's a slut. That's all there is to it. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. She's very sweet, this Angela character. Mm-hmm. If by sweet you mean manic and screaming the rest of the movie. She informs the girls that she's staying in bungalow. Oh my god, I just bungled the bungalow. She's staying in bungalow 13, which is very shocking to the girls because that's where that girl was murdered. And she doesn't believe in superstitions.
And Inga, she tells the story, and there's a lot of alliteration because of the word bungalow, and they say things like, the brutal bungalow murder. What sort of beast, barbarian, brute bastard could do such a thing?
I didn't even pick up on that. That's great.
Oh, they didn't say that exactly. I'm just paraphrasing.
Oh,
But
man.
essentially, the important thing to know about Inga, now that we've met her, is that she's kind of just like, this whole movie is post-synced. It's dubbed after the fact.
Yes.
So none of these have the original actors' voices. But for some reason, whoever was recording the dialogue of Inga felt she had to say all of her dialogue, which is quite a lot, very, very fast.
Yes.
So whenever Inga speaks, it's just word vomit. I guess she had to just fit it into the actor or the voice actress recording her had to fit it into the allotted time that Inga was on screen, but they just wrote too much dialogue for her.
She got paid by the word.
Exactly. Well, she made out pretty fucking well. At the end of telling her grisly, brutal story about the bungalow murder in number 13, someone says, one of the other girls comments to Inga that she has quite a repertoire of chilling tales. And Inga, in response, says, well, I don't think so. So what exactly does she think they are? Like erotic tales about people being stabbed to death with scissors?
She's all mixed up.
She's got problems.
When Angela leaves to go unpack in her bungalow, she's being stalked by Miguel already. There's a whole sequence of her in her little bungalow wearing what looks like an old curtain that she tore off.
She's wearing a curtain then, but beforehand, when she's being stalked by Miguel, she's walking to her bungalow. We see she's wearing a really kick-ass Grace Jones sweater.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Showing some shoulder, yeah.
No, I mean, Grace Jones is actually on her sweater.
Are you... Oh,
Yeah.
my God. How did I miss that?
Yeah, it's just a huge picture. I
Awesome.
mean, I'm 100% sure it's Grace
No, I
Jones.
believe you. I believe you. I just can't believe I missed that. It's genius.
So then, after she evades Miguel and is in her bungalow number 13, of course,
Yep.
she is stalked by a draft. All that wind pouring into the bungalow.
Yep. Blows through the window, blows through the door. Very important. Paco is eating at the window. He's not just looking in and laughing maniacally and looking crazy. He's also eating while he's laughing maniacally and looking crazy. It's
Do you know what he's
great.
eating? It looks like a Twinkie or something.
It was just some kind of bread or something. It looked
And the
delicious.
crumbs are just falling out of his mouth.
Oh, man.
He's smushing his face up against the glass as he's masticating whatever that stuff is. I can imagine why you'd get hungry watching it. Angela's preparing to take a shower in this scene while she's being menaced by Paco and the wind. Both of which she's probably a little bit more concerned about the wind than she is about Paco.
She just thinks he's funny.
But she's combing her hair before taking a shower. Is that a thing?
I was thinking the same thing. She was probably going to tie it back after she was
That makes
done
more
combing
sense.
it, then get in the shower.
Okay.
That's just how fascinating that scene is.
Well, it caught my attention.
There's a knock at the door, and of course Miguel has vanished. We don't see him. Was he inside? Was she hallucinating him? Is he under the bed all of a sudden? Where did Miguel go? But at the door is a little boy, a little beggar, trying to sell her an elephant toy.
It's a really good fake out. We see a shadow looming up on the door. It's the shadow of a very tall figure behind the I guess the drape in front of the door's window.
Yep.
And so we're expecting it to be, Miguel or somebody. But it's not. It's this little tiny boy. It's a wonderful fake out. But, what she didn't realize was that this little boy was actually the Zodiac killer. She probably should have been a little bit more careful. Don't leave your door open to the baby Zodiac killer.
He'll be sending those cryptographs in before too long.
I'm pretty sure this movie is a cryptograph.
It's my favorite one ever.
What if, the Zodiac Killer resurfaced in 1981 and he just sent a copy of this movie to the newspaper office where he usually sent his stuff? Like, decode this.
Jake Gyllenhaal would have to watch this movie.
He would.
And in that, director's cut, we'd have to watch him watching the movie.
And he has this really great scene with Mark Ruffalo where he explains how, I watched this.
Oh, man. There's a movie. Oddly enough, I'd rather watch Bloody Moon again.
What?
Than watch Zodiac.
You're crazy.
Bloody Moon is way better.
That's not true.
It's the same story.
No, this is like Zodiac Killer Origins.
Oh, man, that's a prequel I need.
Yeah.
Back at the mansion, the Countess is being pushed around. It's still nighttime, still the same evening. Mm-hmm. It's like, wait a minute, we all thought the Countess was dead.
Right.
But she's getting her walking, her wheeling in.
She's much like a dog in that way.
Might be why she was so pissed off all the time. Angela is now ready to go out and check out the school. She's got a crazy sweater that looks oddly like a beach scene with purple trees or something. I have no idea what's going on with that sweater. Tights and cowboy boots.
You skipped over Paco's big scene.
Oh, he's playing in the car.
I swear. This is the scene that probably would have gotten them that Oscar if anybody was paying attention. And that's when Paco breaks into a car and pretends to drive it.
Man, he's good.
And he's pretty much occupied for the rest of the movie at that point.
Yeah.
He's just sitting in that car, driving away.
He is beeping and tooting along. It's just beautiful. Okay, now Angela goes to join her friends at the diner/disco?
Yes? I'll go with yes.
She runs into Eva, who introduces her to Antonio, and it's just electric, the chemistry here.
Here's the most baffling moment, because Antonio asks her, oh, you're here at the language camp to learn Spanish. And Angela says, no, I speak Spanish fluently. And then she speaks in Spanish. Why is she at the language camp?
She doesn't speak Spanish. She just, says a bunch of words that happen to be in the language. It doesn't...
Is that what she does? Really?
Yeah, it's just 6 or 7 words that are total gibberish.
Oh my God. The movie pulled a fast one on me. That was a joke and I didn't even get it. I thought that she actually was a fluent Spanish speaker. And I was like, what's this movie doing?
My barely passing high school Spanish and then barely passing college Spanish served me well enough to know that she was just being an ass.
Listen, I took Latin in high school. I don't know the Spanish language.
It came after. It's way newer.
Yeah, haven't heard of it.
¿Habla usted español, señorita?
Yes, I speak fluently. Muchas gracias. Arriba España. Buenas noches. Hasta la vista es mi caro. Is that enough to convince you, senor?
Yeah, not bad at all. Why don't we go inside?
Yeah, it's cool.
Do we cut back to Manuela and Miguel?
We do.
Okay, this is hot. Manuela is in her little see-through dress. And she's getting ready to go to bed. Miguel comes in and they have the most incestuous discussion ever recorded on film.
Incest City, population 2.
Let's hope it's never 3.
Ooh.
Like if they made a baby or whatever.
Triplets. Incest City 3. Triplets. That's probably a real title. IMDb.
Yeah, let's not rent that.
Okay. So we learn here more about their incestuous relationship. We learn that Miguel is really into Manuela because, she never has laughed at him because of his horrific scarring. She was the only one in his whole life who, really just treated him like a normal human being. So, as fucked up as it is, we kind of get it. And then they while Manuela is still wearing her thong and doily combo, we have a scene of leg loving or leg worshipping, where Miguel just really goes to town on that leg.
There's something to the effect where she says, like, we can't be lovers because people won't let us.
Yeah, essentially, like, she was breaking it down for Miguel, like, hey, if everyone around us was dead, we could have all the sex we want.
Yeah, or if people would just be cool.
And Miguel just gets this look on his face like, I understand what you mean.
Everyone will die now.
Yes, master.
We go back to the disco where we hear the ultimate song.
Just play it.
I'm going to play the song. Shake your baby. Shake your baby. It's very threatening. The music fucking scares me in this part.
It sounds like Tony Clifton singing, Shake your baby, shake your baby. I think the actual title of the song is Shake Ya Baby, and then like Meatloaf, in that one song, I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Yeah.
Well, this is Shake Ya Baby, but don't drop it on its head. Yeah, nice, right?
I like that.
It's a horrifying song, and it has no place in a discotheque.
Clearly the person who's singing it was dropped on their head. It's just terrifying. There's some great stuff with Antonio, and the girls are all over him. Mm-hmm. And poor Inga just can't win. She wants to cover him in chocolate and eat him up. And he's like, okay, let's get some chocolate. And she loses her mind and like gets mad at him. I will play that dialogue. This is going to turn into, let's just play the clip from the movie. Like, it's so weird.
Now serve me Antonio with chocolate icing and watch me devour his body.
Good idea. Bring us some dessert and see that it's got plenty of chocolate icing.
I thought you knew how to take a joke, Antonio.
Why did you get upset? I was only doing what you asked me.
One great Latin lover thinks he can just sit there looking like God's gift to women, you lousy fraud.
What's eating her?
In this scene, Inga is also wearing a sweater. Like, they all have such cool sweaters. This one I would describe as a kindergarten classroom wallpaper with cheetah accent.
Oh my God.
And we also find out now that she's a virgin, and we have to question, really? Why?
I can't imagine. Could it be that horrible voice?
And I'm pretty sure at this point we now know for sure that tennis is a euphemism in this movie.
Oh,
that means
God.
Lots of sex.
Yes. Especially when Antonio's concerned. Angela gets an escort home from Antonio. Back at her place, she's reading a trashy book, which I paused and looked up. The book is Poe Must Die. It is by Mark Olden. And came out in 1978. Apparently, Edgar Allan Poe has some adventures with an ex-boxer, and they solve some crimes. It's some kind of historical fiction fun book.
Awesome. I'm pretty sure they're not reading from the actual book on the...
No.
No. They're reading from the movie.
There's a great voiceover of, quote-unquote, what Angela's reading, and it's just so much fun.
Finally, the door gave way, and silently he slipped through. As in a trance, he looked around him in the dark. The only thing that disturbed him was the light in her bedroom. He didn't want to be recognized. He dreamt of taking her like a phantom in the night.
Before this scene, actually, we get that visual motif of topless moon-gazing Manuel. Just worth noting.
Damn it! She's so sneaky.
She just sneaks right in there.
Her boobs are one of my favorite things in this movie. Anyway, someone turns the light out on Angela, and the killer is in the other room. Oh, someone in all in black with a big knife is chopping up her flowers. So he's just menacing those roses. Mm-hmm. The killer is about to strike when Eva shows up, and she wants to borrow a pullover because she's been invited to go night fishing.
That's definitely a euphemism.
Oh, yeah. For night fisting? I don't know.
Oh, God.
Sorry. She goes to get the pullover, and just as she's about to put it on, the killer stabs Eva through the back, through her breast.
Mm-hmm. The tip coming right out through the nipple.
That's uncool.
And then this killer, pulling a real Jason Voorhees, just vanishes.
Totally. This all happened with Angela just in the next room.
She's a couple feet away at most.
She walks in, she sees the body, she's understandably upset, she's screaming and screaming, and of course, right when she goes outside, Antonio is right there.
Typical. Lurking outside the girls' bungalows. That's exactly where I'd find that guy.
Lurking by number 13. That's how you spend your time at nights at the International Youth Club Boarding School of Languages.
I think you have to learn a foreign language just to be able to say that mouthful. So
she doesn't believe her at all.
Yeah. She's like, hey, Antonio's just like, hey, she's probably only passed out, Sometimes nipple piercings will do that to people. They're just like, oh, all the blood. Ooh. And then Inga shows up to be sassy. She's also lurking outside the bungalows.
Holy shit. Is she supposed to be drunk? She seriously staggers in like John Wayne. Like, she has the weirdest walk. It's the way the actress is just belting out the lines. It looks like she's slurring, but it's dubbed, so we have no idea.
True.
And she's saying something to the effect of like, oh, this murder you're talking about isn't real. The only murder is like stealing Antonio away or killing people to steal Antonio. I don't freaking know. It's great. While they're in there, Alvaro just pops in through the open door. I guess he heard the ruckus.
Everybody was lurking.
Yep.
They're a bunch of peepers.
He tells Antonio to get out. Angela is beside herself. She tells him that there was a murder, and he's like, go to bed. The next day, that's it. The next day, she's in voice lessons. And she's asking about Eva to somebody, probably Laura.
Yeah, we get a wonderful shot of Ava's empty language learning desk.
Oh, chilling. Just chilling.
Yes.
Like, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. God, someone sit there, please. I'm freaking out. Alvaro's like, hey, stop talking. This is important. This language lesson you learned today will carry you over till next semester. Angela hears a threatening voice on the tape.
Did you write down what this threatening voice said?
No, I didn't.
I did.
Let's hear it.
Because I thought it was very funny. This threatening voice on the tape says, I'll cut you in two, like a piece of wood, with the hacksaw. The killer is really trying to make that simile work. It's not working so well. I think that this whole scene is a total I Still Know What You Did Last Summer reference. In that movie we get Karaoke Impossible, yep. where the killer throws up on the screen, I still know what you did. And in this one we get I'll cut you in two like a piece of wood with a hacksaw.
I know what you did in language lab. Of course, there's no voices on the tape when Alvaro goes to listen. She is really funny. This actress, Olivia Pascal, is just so funny in this scene. Like, once she realizes that he doesn't believe her, there's no voice, she tries to laugh it off, and it's this, like, pathetic, like, so good. Of course, Miguel is in the window, freaking her out with his scarred up face. She goes back to her bungalow, where she finds bloody clothes, just random, she doesn't take them to show anybody. She just finds them and then leaves to go investigate. She's still looking for Eva. She's at the pier because she sees Antonio down there. She sees Antonio arguing with Manuela, and we can't hear what they say unless you rewind it and turn up the volume. Did you listen to any of that?
No.
So they're arguing, and I was like, oh, wait, you can hear them. So I went back, and she's basically saying something like, it's not my problem. So what if there's a sawmill nearby? And I'm like, oh my God, what?
That doesn't really make sense.
It was just some throwaway garbage. Like,
yeah.
Like, oh, that makes so much sense. After this, she's walking along this mountain road, and she is nearly killed by the biggest piece of styrofoam I've ever seen in my life.
This girl just can't catch a break. She's menaced by the wind, menaced by Paco, menaced by all the people lurking outside of her bungalow, and now menaced by a styrofoam boulder.
It's supposed to be a boulder. It does not look anything like anything. It's great.
It bounces, which is a pretty good indication that it won't kill you.
It just looks like something from a bad science fiction movie. I don't know what it's supposed to be. It could be a square planet in a distant solar system.
Immediately afterwards, she runs up to some motorcycle cops and complains to them about almost being killed. And they just look at her like, well, what the hell do you want us to do? You almost got crushed. We can't help it.
The best part is they're like, duh, read the sign. And she's like, it doesn't help that the sign's in another language.
Maybe you shouldn't wander from language camp.
Oh, man. That is brilliant stuff.
Wow.
Okay.
So then we get the next important thing is Inga's rendezvous with Ralph.
Oh, I love this. And I'm like, wait a minute. They mentioned Ralph at the beginning of the movie.
The most important, I mean, there's a lot of important things about this, but the most important thing is that Inga is wearing a Teletubbies pelt. I think she has, in fact, skinned a Teletubby and is now wearing it.
They don't have any regard for animals in that country.
No, clearly, as we will soon see.
Oh, man. She's telling her friends about her lover, Ralph, that she has a date with soon. I think it's one of the girls reveals to Angela, because, Angela's still looking for her friend. They reveal that Eva was lovers with Antonio. So this is supposed to make him more suspicious? Sure.
Okay, whatever.
Very convincing. Antonio is out there trimming some hedges, I believe. Mm-hmm. And he still does not believe Angela at all. Like, no one is even halfway giving her any credit for this girl who has disappeared completely. We have a scene where Manuela is hanging out with her snakes. She's got some glass tanks, and she's got apparently 2 snakes. But one of the snakes, named Medusa...
Or Medusa, with a Z.
Has somehow vanished from its place in the tank. Mm-hmm. And we immediately go to Angela walking through the courtyard around the bungalows, and this poor snake actor... Yeah. The snake is in the tree, coming down to kiss her, wrap around her, maybe become her friend. Instead of taking a chance, Antonio cuts the head off the snake. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then we see it wiggling around on the ground.
I don't even like snakes, and this pisses me off.
Yeah.
Fuck you. How could Jess Franco afford a snake?
That's true. I think they just found it. They must have.
It's like that bat they were drowning in. What was that one movie?
Oh, Dracula Contra Frankenstein.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're sitting there filling this tube that has a bat in it, and they're filling it up with blood, and the bat is clearly drowning. And I'm like, how can you afford to kill an animal? You're Jess Franco. What are you going to feed the crew?
It's pretty sad when the best you can hope for is like, oh, I hope they're just torturing that bat, not killing it.
I forgive this movie because I love this movie. But man, that gets me every time. Anyway.
It's a good reminder for us that Antonio is a gardener, though. I guess without this, we wouldn't really know.
Oh, yeah. He holds up the bloody...
pruning shears?
Hedge clippers.
Hedge clippers, yeah.
He holds up the bloody hedge clippers, and the actress who plays Angela, again, Olivia Pascal, amazing. She has the best delayed reaction. It's like, oh,
she gives now? Us our poster art, yeah.
Oh, scream now. Okay. Then she screams. Antonio is trying to calm her down, but Alvaro just yells at him again to stay away from her. We next cut to most important scene of the movie. The girls want to play a prank on Inga.
Honestly, I think Inga kind of plays the prank on herself here.
It's just one of those things that if I had to give up the rest of the movie for one scene, it would be this one. Like, Angela doesn't want to get involved. She's too busy dealing with this Eva situation, so she takes off. But the rest of the girls want to spy on Inga having sex with Ralph. So they go to the bungalow. Is she in Angela's bungalow? She's... Oh, did you hear that?
I did hear that.
So they're spying on Inga, and I believe she's actually in Angela's
Oh,
bungalow.
Yeah, I'm seeing it right now. I'm, of course, watching the film as we're talking, and it's bungalow number 13. Why the hell would she go to that bungalow?
It's so
she has a bungalow of her own.
She's bouncing up and down on the bed and screaming passionately.
She is worm flopping on this bed.
She does not know what sex is. It's awesome.
She's a virgin.
I know, but she really doesn't know. Like, even virgins know more than that. So she's going to town, getting awfully wound up. Like, she might actually enjoy herself more by herself than with a real guy at this point.
Seems like it, yeah.
And the girls are desperately trying to get in. I mean, they are trying every door, window, frickin' access panel, air conditioning. I don't know. They're trying to get into that fucking place. We do see Eva's body.
Yes, it's
in
hiding
the
out in the closet. Yeah,
very obviously not hidden very well.
Apparently, Angela did not go into her closet to find her cool lion coin sweater that she's been wearing throughout the rest of this movie. Yes. Yeah, that doesn't go in the closet. That just stays right in the dresser.
I'm going to play the dialogue for you because it is a classic moment when the girls finally spy on Inga, and Inga flips out. As you would when your friends catch you pretending to have sex with someone.
Tear off my clothes. Tear them off. Tear them off, Ralph. All of them. Bite me. Hurt me. Oh. How can you just look at me like that and laugh at me? You're satisfied, I suppose, that Ralph couldn't come. It wasn't my fault. I bet he's never even made it with the girl, the phony Spanish lover. I'll get my revenge, you'll see. Enjoy your laughing while you can, because you'll see. Oh, stop it. I can't stop laughing.
I mean, her rant is so funny because it's like mixed like denial and then also like, I'm going to get you, like Wicked Witch of the West type stuff. She's like, Ralph couldn't make it.
She says Ralph couldn't come. It's even funnier.
And then she's like, I'll get you. You'll see. She's not quite sure how she feels about being caught.
No, it's a lot of emotions. But basically, Ralph stood her up. That's the only important thing because she's going to have a real date with this mysterious person pretty soon.
Are we sure there even was a Ralph?
I don't think there ever was a Ralph. Who knows?
Could it be? I think it's like Jan Brady hanging out with that. With her pretend boyfriend. What was it? Something Glass?
Did she call him Philip Glass?
No.
Okay, I'm Googling this.
I have to look it up. George Glass. That's his name.
Was it?
Yeah. She comes up with the name because she looks at her orange juice glass on the breakfast table.
Yep, George Glass. God, that's awesome.
Glass. I think that Ralph is I think he's Ralph Glass.
I wish he was Philip Glass.
It doesn't make sense, but I mean, sure.
Philip Glass is like, I never dated Jen Brady. Next thing you know, Angela is back outside and she sees Inga traveling with someone in a big yellow car, which we know to be Manuela's car because we saw it earlier.
Nice pickup. I didn't notice that.
Hey.
Is that the car that Paco drives and pretends to drive around in, too?
I think so. I think it might be.
It's the only car on campus.
We never see who's driving. Inga is just talking up a storm, as usual. She has to fill in all those silences because, you know, the dark thoughts intrude when the silence happens with Inga. That's all I can imagine.
And unfortunately, she really likes the silent murderous type. So.
Oh, yeah. That's my kind of chick.
She ain't getting much conversation from her companion.
Your car is great. Driving in these old Mercedes is a lot of fun. Just like a Rolls Royce. Where are we going exactly? Oh, it's a secret. I've never been here before, but I'm game for anything. Only I've got to get back to the club in time. I mean, dinner time.
This mysterious person takes her to a sawmill.
While it's a good place for a first date.
Yep. While a little kid is spying on them. I don't know if this is the little kid from earlier that was trying to give Angela his elephant. There's a euphemism for you.
He looks slightly taller than that kid, but who knows?
He took some vitamins.
Oh. Well, it's actually, this movie's taken place over, 10 years and we haven't noticed.
Oh, it's like Boyhood. Please don't make me watch that. Can I watch
Bloody Boyhood?
Can I watch Bloody Moon again? Inga is very excited to be tied up in this.
She says, as they say, suffering is good for pleasure. Who says that? Who the fuck says that?
You just did.
Well, that's true. But
oh no, I was out of context. She is very happily being tied up, very close to a giant saw blade. The killer flips on the switch, and the saw blade is coming. I swear that actress must have been deaf. Can you imagine how loud that shit was?
Oh, yeah.
So the kid tries to be heroic, runs in and shuts the power off to the saw, but is totally ineffective, kicks the killer in the shin, and then runs away. Killer immediately turns the power back on, and we get a decapitation.
Because the killer knows what we all knew this entire time, that the only way to stop Inga from talking is to sever her vocal cords.
It doesn't stop her from bleeding more than any human being on the planet ever bled ever. It is awesome.
Luckily for Inga, she has that amazing ability that we see from time to time, that she's able to turn into a dummy at the last second, so she doesn't actually die, just this dummy that takes her place dies instead.
I have Obsession or something, the films of Jess Franco,
yeah.
And I looked up this movie real quick to see if they had anything to say other than, negative stuff. They were pretty mean to the movie, which I'm like, hello, that's bullshit. How dare you? They have a picture of the actress who plays Inga holding her head and laughing. And I was like, yes!
Nice. I printed out a PDF of that book. Entire book.
Hell yeah, you did. I disagree with the review.
Anyway, what we learned from the conclusion of this scene is that, Inga's friends were right. They always said she was a dummy.
I like that. That was really good.
Thank you.
So the little kid's running down the street. The killer gives chase in the yellow car and runs over the kid. And I could not be happier.
Yes, that's what we needed at this point. Just a little bit of child death.
Fatality. It was so great. I just loved it. So we go back to Bungalow 13 again. And Angela is packing up her shit. She is done with this place. Unfortunately, this time the draft is not chasing her. She goes to the door and Antonio is there. And then she goes to the back door and Manuel is there. So she barricades herself in, grabs a knife, and then waits.
She barricades her, window door, but she doesn't barricade her, actual door.
Oh my god, it's awesome.
She actually leaves it unlocked, which is a pretty brilliant strategy, I think.
During this super tense scene, the door creaks open, and she's staring, and cat scare.
Come here. Come on, pussycat.
Somebody tosses a cat inside.
Oh man, I love cat scares.
I think what really happened was that the killer, lurking outside, obviously, was just like, oh, our heroine looks so frightened. She needs a cat to cuddle. So he just opens up the door and throws in a cat.
So she picks up the cat, she pets it, and then all of a sudden remembers that she's fucking terrified. It's such a great moment where she's like, oh shit, back to work,
I can't believe I somehow skipped over this in my notes this entire time, but whenever Angela is being menaced in the film, the soundtrack does a wonderful thing. And that's when, a singing saw is, flopped around to menace her.
Dude, I will play that right now. Thank you. There's a frickin' Appalachian band after her.
This singing saw just won't let up. It's just always after her. I mean, it's kind of a spoiler because we know the identity of the killer all throughout. It's this horrific singing saw.
She gets up and there's a figure in the other room which she stabs repeatedly. Looks oddly like a mannequin.
No, really?
So this is awesome. There's a knock at the door and it's her friend Laura who wants in. Laura is desperate to get inside. So Angela takes down her amazing barricade, lets her in. I wrote down what I think Laura's wearing. Did you happen to notice, or do you have an opinion? Okay.
All right. So I'm looking at it right now. So cheetah print leggings, cheetah print scarf,
Yep.
David Bowie vest.
Okay. Who do you think she looks like from pop culture?
Let's see, Mork from Mork and Mindy.
I like that. I wrote down Peggy from Married with Children.
Oh, yeah, pretty good.
So
Sort of
hot.
like,
She just needs
you
a
know,
giant wig.
Halfway between the two.
So Laura tries to calm down Angela. We find out the figure she stabbed was, of course, Mannequin Scare. It was a big dummy that she stabbed.
But, you know what? That mannequin looks a lot like Paco. I think that Paco may have just saved himself by turning into a mannequin at the last second.
He is a good actor.
Franco's direction was, be very still. Paco took it to heart.
Oh my god, he took it all the way. He went method.
Very.
Laura tries to calm her down, and instead of, sticking together at this crucial point, Laura goes to get some beer.
She just got an upset stomach. She needs some beer to settle it down.
You and your midnight adventures. Can't you think of anything else? Have you got something to drink? After all this, I really could use something like beer. A wine. Tell you what, I'll go and see if they have anything over at the club. Be right back.
As she's coming back from getting beer, she's got 4 beers, and someone's following her. One is Miguel, and the other is the killer. And she gets back to the door, and all of a sudden, she's assaulted by the killer using a giant pair of tongs. And she's squeezing her throat to death. She drops the beers. Angela gets a threatening phone call for some reason.
This isn't the first time she's gotten a threatening phone call, too.
I know, but it's really late in the game. What the fuck?
I think at this moment we've got Angela's clock, her phone, and that singing saw all are sort of ganging up on her.
Just go take some language lessons. Or go play some tennis right now. It's just so funny.
But even the tape recorder was against her, so probably her racket was against her too. She's just, inanimate objects just hate her.
She finds Inga, but it's only Inga's head in her bed.
Well, it's her best part.
Exactly. Then she finds Eva's body in the... was behind the curtain. She just all of a sudden pulls the curtain back, and there's poor Eva, who we've been searching for this whole time. Not in the closet, just, there. Then, in the next room, she finds Laura's body hanging from the ceiling.
This is a great little moment that, really solidifies this film as a slasher film.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is our rundown of the body count, with the killer just lurking around outside, just watching and waiting for the heroine's reaction, and then to pop out and attack to set us into climax mode. It's a perfect slasher moment.
The masked killer attacks Angela, but Miguel comes to her rescue.
So in this formula, I guess Miguel is our Dr. Loomis. There you go.
Ooh. I wish he was the final girl, too.
He's got hair pretty enough to be the final girl.
Damn right. That's a good call with the Dr. Loomis. Seriously. The killer knocks Miguel out with what I wrote down is a watermelon / sculpture. What the fuck does he hit him with? Looks weird. Angela runs out of Bungalow 13 and is menaced by none other than Paco himself. Paco has the tongs, so last second red herring for you there.
Just throwing them all in as quick as
Fuck
possible. You're just running through all the possible suspects. Everybody is dead now except for the culprits. Yeah. Remember Paco?
Yeah, the screenplay says, remembered characters? So she sees Alvaro, but she's too scared to approach him, and he just gets in the car and drives away, or seemingly drives away. Miguel is not dead. He's got a head wound, he's bleeding, but he's just disoriented. She goes to the house, the mansion, and asks Manuela for help. Manuela takes her in, puts some mysterious powder in some whiskey, and just gets her to relax by drugging her with this mysterious powder. As Angela is falling into a stupor, she says that she's seen the killer, and his eyes are cold and blue. Mm-hmm. Still there?
I'm still here.
Okay, sorry. The movie's moving real fast.
Yeah.
Finally. Page 4 of the notes, everybody. Of course, in the next scene, Alvaro and Manuela are explaining the entire plot. Mm-hmm. Miguel, bloody but alive, overhears the whole thing.
And we discover that, the Countess was correct. That Manuela was just scheming this whole time for her money. Basically, her and Alvaro planning to like frame Miguel for all these murders, so that after they'd reveal that the Countess was dead, that Miguel had done all this, killed her, killed all the girls at the camp, and so the inheritance that would have gone to him would instead pass on to his next of kin, which, because he's totally repulsive and doesn't have any children, would be his sister, beloved sister. So it's an inheritance plot, which, kind of brings us back to a giallo instead of a slasher. This is one of those lovely hybrid films. Doesn't really fit in any category, but it's every category.
Of course, Miguel overhears all this. Alvaro decides that he should get more money, and they should be partners.
And they should go to Africa.
Yes, and Manuela's like, no, we are not partners. She says something to the effect of, you've been paid. Isn't sleeping with me payment enough?
And he's like, well, I can't really argue with that.
She's got me there. Upstairs, drugged out Angela is just combing her hair.
Is that something you do before you're dead?
Miguel, who we think is going to come to her rescue, instead thinks that she's Manuela and attacks her. Mm-hmm. She stabs him in the neck with the sharp end of the comb? What is that thing she stabs him with?
Oh, a comb would make sense. That would actually be a reason for why she was combing her hair. I thought it was I just assumed like it was a sharp pointy thing like a knitting needle or a ice pick or something, but comb makes sense.
She stabs him through the neck and he falls over. We think he's dead. Then Angela tries to run and discovers Alvaro attacking Manuela. Then she finds the dead Countess, which is great. She turns her around and the Countess is all burned up in the face area, very dead. Alvaro comes in, admits to killing her friends, and then threatens her with a knife. And Manuela bursts in, kills Alvaro with a fucking hedge trimmer. An electric hedge trimmer. It's awesome.
It's very pieces.
Yes. Oh yeah. This is such a great companion film with pieces. Gotta tell you.
So many deaths by gardening equipment in this movie.
After Alvaro's dead, Manuela threatens Angela. Doesn't kill her, but she threatens her and makes sure she'll never tell of any of this. And lets her freaking go, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's very strange.
It doesn't really make any sense.
I saved your life, remember that. And don't you ever forget it. He threatened you the same way he threatened me. Miguel and Alvaro are both murderers, remember that. And just be damn sure to remember it. Now get out.
Manuela decides to go and yell at the corpse of Miguel. Like, in your face, incest boy. Uh-huh. And boy, is she surprised when Miguel gets up and strangles her to death. After she's dead and he is dying, we get a shot of their hands touching, and Miguel, his fingers wrap around her hand, and they die holding hands. Because maybe they were twins. Super ironic.
But you know what?
We don't know.
Throughout this whole thing, I'm pretty sure we keep hearing that floppy singing sauce.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not convinced the story's over. I think there's a to be continued at the end of this.
Oh, it better be. I want Bloody Moon 2. Jess
Bloodier Moon.
That is the entire movie. We get the nice freeze frame and the ending credits. Whew. Do we want to take a break and then we'll talk about this movie and sum it up more? We got top 5.
We do.
We got some more content because podcasts...
They thrive on content. It's weird.
So nasty.
You can't just talk.
It's like a rash.
Pod rash?
I don't know why that's so funny to me. Probably because I have it.
Oh.
It's funny because it's true. All right, folks, we'll be back with a little more Bloody Moon.
Bloodier Moon.
I told you there was a sequel.
I don't want to talk about Bloody Spoon anymore. I'm sick of all these bloody spoons. Give me a dry fork. I don't even care what happened after Kill the Moonlight came out.
We're back from our totally real break to finish talking about Bloody Moon, as Jeffrey calls it.
I think that's what it's actually called.
That's how they say it.
Yeah.
How do you like this movie, sir?
Oh, I love it.
Nice.
Do you want me to tell you why I love it?
Yes.
Okay. Because it's not anything like any other Jess Franco film.
Very true.
I mean, you've seen more Jess Franco films than I have, I'll admit. But I've seen like 40 of them, which is like a good, a good like
chunk.
1/5 of his filmography. I feel like that's enough for me to know how his films feel. And this doesn't feel anything like them. I mean, there are moments that are very Franco-esque moments. Like, you know, topless Manuela staring at the moon and all the frequent zooms. Those certainly feel like Jess Franco moments. But for the most part, this is kind of like, this is one you could pass by a lot of people. You could just give this to them and they could watch it and be like, oh, that movie was stupid, but it was fun. Whereas most Jess Franco movies, you can't give them to anyone. Because if you do, they'll think you're insane.
They'll think you have really terrible taste in movies.
They will. They won't get it. I mean, it's the mainstream Jess Franco movie. Like, or as mainstream as he could get. Which is not very, but it's more than you'd expect.
Nice.
I love it. It's great. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's again that weird sort of slasher giallo hybrid. 1981. It's a weird year. In Europe, especially. I mean, here we were definitely in slasher mode for sure. I mean, that's the prime slasher year. But in Europe, they were post-giallo, pre-nothing, really. You know, it didn't really go much of anywhere in the 80s and the 90s. So they were just kind of feeling it out. I mean, this is obviously American-inspired, but it's also very much European. So it's just an oddball. It's a lot of fun. It's super short. Just see it. I mean, I guess we spoiled it for you, so hopefully you've already seen it. But
hopefully we're preaching to the choir here. This is just...
I think we are.
So much fun. I just want to watch this again right now. Even with the animal violence, I am so okay with this movie. Usually that's a big no-no for me, and I live with it because... this movie just, it just hits all the sweet spots. The thing that's strange about this is the cast. I really am so used to Franco films having this cast that will connect you to 90 other Franco movies. Yeah. Or at least Italian movies or Spanish movies or French films. Even if it's porn, you know, there's connections. This cast, with a few exceptions, is really a bunch of unknowns, and probably for good reason.
And the only recognizable person is Franco himself. You know, he's our only connection.
Yeah, Olivia Pascal had made some movies, some other Franco movies, I think, but she was, as you said, Franco revealed in the interview that she was done making sex movies. Mm-hmm. Because of a new marriage, and she refused to do any nude scenes or sex scenes.
But he does compliment her. He says that she was perfect for this movie, which is actually maybe an insult, but...
Wow, he's levels of sarcasm.
Yeah, he works on different levels, sure.
I love it. This cinematographer, Juan Soler, he did work with Franco a bunch during this period. Just a lot of stuff they worked on together. Nothing too over the top or exciting to mention, but yeah, this guy did an okay job, even though Franco wasn't really complimentary to him. Just do yourself a favor, watch the interview with him on this movie. He remembers a lot. You get a lot of good information about at least his opinion on the film before he trails off on just how he feels about horror in general, which is very confusing.
Well, I mean, he's down on this film because, you know, he tells us that the producers, these German producers, came to him with this film because they knew they wanted to make a horror film, but they had no idea what a horror film was. So they were just like, here, you take this thing, make it what we want it to be. In the interview, he tells us that the producers promised him 3 things.
This is good.
Only one of which was true. The first thing they promised was that, hey, you have Olivia Pascal, this actress who, I don't know, has been in a couple things. You've got her. She's your lead. He's like, okay, I'll accept that. And they said, number 2, you have Pink Floyd doing the score.
My God.
And Franco was like, holy shit, yeah, great, excellent. And then they said, you have an excellent director of photography. And they only gave him Olivia Pascal. Which, I guess he was pretty disappointed by.
I'm gonna real quick play a sample of the quote-unquote Pink Floyd music for you. Okay. That's your Pink Floyd right there. It's horrible.
At one point in this interview, he expresses his hatred for the soundtrack that was ultimately saddled upon the movie by a German composer. I think he's pretty sure it's a German composer. I think he says Austrian at one point. Anyway, he says that this composer was primitive. Not the sort of composer who would be making music for his film.
That's not a compliment. That's a mean thing to say, Jess Franco.
He also insults the producers by saying that, that, quote, their way is the way of shit. Contrasting that with his way, which was the golden way to go.
Damn right.
He also gives a really good blurb for the home video case of the DVD of Bloody Moon, which Severin was silly not to take it and put it on the front. And that was, quote, it's kind of a funny show.
I will say this. 1981, German producers didn't know shit about horror. Really. Name all those great German horror movies from the 80s again.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Although, the guy who wrote it, Eric Tomek,
yes.
Who credits himself as Rayo Casablanca.
Oh, Franco hates that. That was awesome.
Makes fun of.
He's like, Casablanca's not horror. What's your problem?
It's tone.
Calm down.
Romance.
It's okay.
This guy also wrote Contamination from 1980. Yeah. Woo. And then a bunch of German things that I don't know.
Man.
Except one of them is called She's 19 and Ready.
The Jeffrey Canino story.
Ooh.
It's an unauthorized biopic, I know.
Deeply, deeply unauthorized.
The word deeply made me laugh. There is one thing that makes me laugh. The actress's name, the woman who played Manuela, who I still think could have been improved upon by Lena Romay playing her. Her name on IMDb is Nadja Jurgenoff.
Oh, God.
Not a surprise. She never worked again.
Damn, that's a rough name to be settled with.
Stay in Germany. Stay in Germany. Was she German? I don't know.
Well, Alvaro's name, his name is Christoph Moosbrugger. Oh, it's Brugger. It's not Burger. I feel.
Oh, man.
It's not quite as bad as I thought.
That's actually a curse word. Moosbruggering is you don't want to get caught doing that.
I don't believe you.
I don't either. Actually, Maria Rubio, who played the very angry Countess, she had a career, like an actual long-lasting movie career and TV career, but...
Wow, she's still alive.
She was in 1979's 40 Years Without Sex.
I mean, she was super old back then. How old is she now? She last acted in 2011. That's crazy.
I think her teeth were method actors.
Oh, she was born in 1934. Yeah, she's pretty old.
Do you have anything else to add about Bloody Moon?
Oh, one of its alternate titles, which we learn about from that interview with Jess Franco, which I thought was very funny. because he was aghast by it, was that the Spanish title for the film was called Raped College Girl.
Yes.
He's like, but there's nobody raped in the film. This is my only film where there's no rape. They call it Raped College Girl. And then he goes on to talk about why it was named that way. Because this is after the fall of that other Francisco Franco. So, Spanish cinema finally, for once, was a little bit more open. And they could do stuff like name a film Raped College Girl. But he gives a good quote about Spain. He's like, as with everything in Spain, always too much. They were either too repressive or too out in the open.
Says the guy who made 200 films.
No. Oh, God.
This was banned for many, many years by the infamous Video Nasty. What was that commission called or whatever? I don't remember. Good, nice trivia dump, Richard.
Yeah, real good.
But yeah, this movie was banned, and I think for good reason. It's pretty gory. I'm sure they probably based the banning on the cover art.
Oh, totally. Nobody watched this film.
As with the case with most things banned on that list, it was usually just the marketing that got it banned.
Yes.
Instead of a question time, we decided to do a top 5, and I thought it'd be fun to do our top 5 favorite non-horror movies from Jess Franco.
It's perfect.
Would you like to go first, sir, with your 5?
Yeah, so I'm going to go from 5 to 1.
Heck yeah.
Sounds good to you.
Love it.
So some of these I actually just watched for the first time today.
Oh, nice.
I had planned on watching, just burning through some of my Jess Franco DVDs that I hadn't watched yet, and just to get in the Franco mood for today's show.
Lovely.
And some of them really, captured my imagination. The first one of those, number 5 for me on my list of the top 5 favorite Jess Franco horror films. I guess another preface would be that I've seen way more of Jess Franco's horror films than his non-horror films.
Right.
So ask me again in like a year or so, I'll probably have a totally different list for you. But at the moment, These are my favorites. Number 5, I'm guessing you hate this movie if you've seen it, Sadomania.
I have never seen that.
You might not want to. It's crazy. I mean, this is the most perverse I've ever seen a Jess Franco film, which is kind of weird to say because you'd think all of his movies are perverse. But not quite like this. This is it's almost like he was, I think this film was in early 1980s too. I think it might have been 1981, the same year as Bloody Moon, actually. Oh. And I feel like he's almost responding to other directors who went even farther in their, displays of debauchery and perversion. Right. That he just went way out there. This movie's got fucking everything, man. I don't even want to talk about it too much to spoil it, but there is this one dialogue exchange from it that it made my head explode a little bit. So I want to mention it. There is a woman who dies because her nipple was bitten off. But she doesn't die immediately. She I guess the bite gets infected. And these 2 topless women are looking after her, trying to nurse her back to health, but it doesn't work because she has to be constantly sold as a sex slave, because that's something that happens in this movie. So she's lying in bed with her infection fever, and she dies, and she spasms. She sits up, jerks around a lot, and then falls back down into the bed with her eyes pointing, bug-eyed, rolled back into the back of her head. The one of the women with her then says, "Oh, her death reminds me of the death of Zenobia." The other woman with her asks, "Who was that? Was that a relative of yours?" And the other woman responds by saying, "No, it was my favorite cow."
What?
And then the scene ends. That's it.
What the fuck? That's awesome.
You know what? I changed my mind. You should see this film. Jess Franco has a major role in it as a gay white sex slave trader. There's so many good things in it. I'll just leave it at that. See it. That's my number 5.
Love it.
Do you want me to finish my list, or do you want to do your number 5?
Go ahead and do your list. Yeah.
So number 4, we've already mentioned Blue Rita.
Oh, yes.
Blue Rita is so strange.
What a great movie.
I don't even... Like, there's a club, and there's a reporter who's taken captive, and there's sexy torture time. It's a lot weirder than what I'm saying, but that's pretty much all I got of it. There's spy stuff, but it's mostly like sexy torture. There's women writhing on top of cages, like thrusting their pelvises in it, so that the captured male prisoners get so horny they don't know what to do.
Yeah,
and that's
some kind of like slime substance.
Oh my god!
Was there like a slime or something, or like a
yeah?
She'd made some like love potion.
Yes.
Oh man, that movie is so
really weird. Yeah.
It's one of the like really sex heavy movies of his that I actually like.
Because it's also very weird heavy. It's nicely balanced.
Bizarre. There's some inflatable furniture, I remember.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, yes. Okay. Blue Rita's my number 4. Number 3 is a Soledad Miranda favorite. The Devil Came from Akasawa.
Nice.
It's one of those like pretty well made Jess Franco films from earlier on. That's just like a fun spy crime caper. It's pretty by the books. I mean, there's nothing all that incredible about it, but it's light, it's airy, it's fun, and it's got Soledad Miranda. So, and she does that crazy striptease that you see in lots of photos of her, where she's wearing like VHS tapes. You know, I don't know exactly how you describe it.
Did you just watch that today?
No. I did not watch
this
that
is one
today.
you've seen before.
I watched Sadomania today, and then 2 others that are my dual second pick.
Sweet.
Which you might be able to guess. So my second pick is a duology of films starring the same characters. Two Undercover Angels. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Two Undercover Angels and Kiss Me Monster.
Oh, yes.
Of those two, I definitely prefer Two Undercover Angels, the first one.
Really?
Slightly more than Kiss Me Monster. I mean, they're...
Interesting.
I thought Two Undercover Angels was funnier with the werewolf morpho.
Oh, man. It's great.
But Kiss Me Monster is really good, too, with like the constant, this person we're talking to has been killed by a flying knife that lands up in their back.
So good.
And Kiss Me Monster does have that really good dual saxophone performance.
That is, if I had not seen that, I would have not lived, like truly lived my life the best.
I would be really happy if there were 8 more of these. It's sad that there's only 2. Because nice. Rosanna Yanni is awesome. I really like her. And Janine Reynaud is weird. She's good in these movies. I mean, have you seen Succubus?
Oh, yes, I have.
Yeah, I mean, she's super weird in that.
Yeah, that's not a favorite Succubus, but it's pretty strange.
I love Succubus. It would be top of this list if I didn't consider it a horror film.
It's pretentious even for Jess Franco.
I know. It's over the top pretentious. It's one of the most pretentious films I've ever seen. I love it to death.
Yes.
Anyway, and I think that she was like Jack Taylor's girlfriend or something, or wife maybe? I don't know. I saw that in like an interview on the Succubus disc. Anyway, so awesome. She showed up in a few of Jess Franco's films because of that connection.
Genius. Love it.
Anyway, so those, because I pretty much consider them one movie, they are my number 2. My number 1 is one of the Eugenie films. So it's not... the best one, which is Eugenie de Sade, because I kind of consider that one to be a horror film. It's borderline, as many Franco films are, but I feel like Eugenie, the story of her journey into perversion, or whatever the hell it's called, that one's the top of my non-horror list. Because it's almost as good as Eugenie de Sade. Not quite. It doesn't have Soledad Miranda, but it's got Christopher Lee, and that ain't bad. It's brutal, and sexy, and serious, somber, and just good. It's a good movie. That's my list.
Very nice. I'm going to start from 5 and go to 1, just like you did.
Do it.
My first pick is Dolls for Sale.
Ooh.
Now, this is one of his obscure-ish ones, I guess.
I don't even think I've heard of it, yeah.
Les Ebranlis. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. 1972, Howard Vernon, Montserrat Pruss, Kali Hansa, Anne LeBert. Basically, those 4 people did like 20 movies with Franco in the span of 3 months, it feels like. Like, they filmed so much shit together that you can just take all these movies, like The Sinister Eyes of Dr. Orloff, or just like, what is that one? Diary of a Nymphomaniac. Like, all these people are all in this. They're all in these movies together. It's great. I love when he has that troupe of people to work with. Howard Vernon is a detective trying to solve something or other. It's really hilarious. I really feel like the version I saw had all the sex cut out of it. There's some like really like tame sex stuff. The most memorable moment in the movie is Howard Vernon's bare butt getting smacked by someone, which that's something you need to see.
I've seen probably more of Howard Vernon's bare butt in my life than I really need to.
Than your own, you know? I don't have a mirror.
Probably true.
Yeah, it's a magical movie. It's just something to see. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to spoil anything. It's just odd as shit. There's definitely some S&M ridiculousness, but it's so poorly done that it's not even like... If that kind of stuff makes you uneasy, it doesn't matter. Just take some drugs and watch it. You don't have to take drugs. Let's see. My next pick, Lucky the Inscrutable, which is a spy movie. And folks at home, I hate spy parodies. Like, Dean Martin ruined spy movie parodies for me. Like, I watched one of... What was the spy series that Dean Martin did?
I have no idea.
Let me look it up real quick. I'll pretend I remembered. He was a spy in the Matt Helm series. They fucking suck. I don't care what anybody says. They are painful. It's Dean Martin not even trying to, like, play along.
Regular Dean Martin.
Exactly, but even more, like, he's just sad. I don't know. Anyway, Lucky the Inscrutable is about a spy, or Lucky El Intrepido. It's a very comic book-esque type movie. It's kind of like a really stupid version of Mario Bava's Danger Diabolik. Franco has not one but 2 cameos as 2 different characters.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's just a lot of fun to watch. It does lose steam a little bit near the last half hour, but it is such a barrage of just insanity. Like, Rosalba Neri is in it too, which she makes every movie better.
That's true.
My next pick is, just like you, Eugenie, the story of her journey into perversion. That is a great movie. Highly recommend that one. Next is another pick of yours, The Devil Came from Akasawa. What a great movie. Totally avoided it for a long time just because I had a copy of it that was awful. It was a really, really grubby, like VHS looking one. And somehow I found a better copy and really enjoyed myself. Out of all of her performances, Soledad Miranda is having the most fun in this one. Like, really knocking it out of the park. My number 1 pick, because you reminded me that Eugenie Desaad is kind of a horror movie.
Kind of. Not really, but...
It's close enough to She Killed in Ecstasy to be the same movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Kiss Me Monster.
Nice.
I find it interesting that you like Two Undercover Angels better.
I do.
Now I want to watch them both again. They're definitely both worth watching again and again.
Definitely. They're so short. And
I was watching Kiss Me Monster, and I got 5 minutes into it, and I paused and I walked out into the living room where my wife and mother-in-law were, and I was like, am I dreaming? Because I need you guys to watch this and tell me I'm awake So I made them watch Kiss Me Monster with me, and we all had a frickin' blast. The jokes are all ruined by the frickin' dubbing. Like, there's some comedy in there, and it's all just spoiled by the stupidity.
It's anti-comedy.
But then the actual funny stuff is just like the visual gags. The dueling saxophones thing is... God. I'm serious. It's life-changing. Wow. And that's my list.
Very nice list.
I'm getting fired up. I have not been in the mood to review a Franco film in a long time. Let's see.
You know what? I've got a suggestion for your next one.
I think I know what you're going to say. Go for it.
Okay, well, I think it'll shoot to the top of your non-horror list. How about Lulu's Talking Ass?
You've actually watched that?
No.
Oh my god. I didn't realize you were going to go for non-horror. So I thought you were going to say...
Mansion of the Living Dead?
Yeah, Mansion of the Living Dead. You
got to see that one. It's so
I don't know what it is. Is there a woman who pukes on herself in that?
Yes.
That's probably what's been doing it.
Well, I wouldn't say it's puke.
She's just eating very sloppily. She's a slave, essentially,
very
right?
Sloppy eater, yeah.
All right. See, folks, you can see how far I've gotten into the movie so far. I will give Mansion of the Living Dead another chance.
You'll like it.
I'm going to work on this Lulu's Talking Ass.
You know, I have a copy. I'll send it your way. Don't worry.
I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Well, maybe I'm ready for it. Yeah, I've reviewed, I think, 53 out of 58. Nafa and Brad have reviewed 2. So if you want to go there, if you want to review Sadomania, you should.
Oh, God.
You're like, don't make me watch it again.
It would just be YouTube clips. I just clip it all.
I would not show them to anyone. But yeah, I'm all in a Franco mood now. Holy shit. This was fun, dude.
I'm sending you the title screen from Lulu's Talking Ass on Facebook right now. Go check it out.
All right. Let's do this. Facebook. It's exactly what I imagined. Words shooting out of someone's ass.
It's Lena's ass, of course.
I'm surprised I didn't know it by heart by now.
How would you not recognize it?
Oh wait, I only know her vagina.
True.
Oh boy. Wow. So, Jeffrey, I asked Brad what he thinks we should cover.
And he is a true sadomasochist.
Within seconds of sending that text, he spits back, "The bloodsucker leads the dance." Which used to be the worst giallo I'd ever seen.
How could anything beat it?
It was beat by something that was passed off as a giallo, but the fact that it wasn't actually a giallo wasn't why it was bad. A movie called Love and Death on the Edge of a Razor.
Oh god, that one is way worse. Yeah.
Now, is it a giallo?
No, I don't even know what the fuck it is, but it's not.
Is it a crime film?
Not really.
It has gangsters in it?
It's like a stupid romance.
It's
with a really good title.
I watched that for the Giallo Meltdown book because I firmly believed it was a giallo. Boy, was I in for it.
Man, that one's a crushing disappointment. Bloodsucker is just a beast.
Yeah, but I am very excited about it because the second viewing, I really enjoyed it. And, yep, we're going to do it. It's not going to be the next episode. I have no idea what the next episode is going to be. But the next time Jeffrey and I are together, virtually, we're going to talk about that piece of shit. It's going to be great. Promise, no spoilers. No, we're going to basically watch it so that you at home don't have to.
Yeah, we'll be really thorough in our notes. I'll probably have like a full half page of notes about this film to talk about.
I bet you could do a quarter page and I wouldn't notice.
God, there's nothing to talk about.
Oh, I don't know about that. No, there's so much to say.
We'll see.
Well, thank you for being on the show once again, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks at home, for listening.
Let the singing saws play us out, please.
Shake your baby. Shake your baby. Shake your baby.
Tony Clifton, everyone.
Man, I'm glad Andy Kaufman's dead. Woo. Or is he? Conspiracy theory. I don't know. Good night, folks.
Shake your baby, shake, shake, shake your baby, shake, 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 shake.
I'll have nightmares if you go on telling all your horror stories. You've quite a repertoire of chilling tales.
I don't tell chilling tales.
If you would like to contact Hello, this is The Doomed Show. Please email us at doomedmoviethong@gmail.com or check us out at facebook.com/HelloDoomedShow. We are also on Twitter. Sorry about that. @DoomedMovieThong. #HelloDoomedShow. For the old ass episodes that you missed, find our archived episodes at doomedmoviethong.com. Don't forget to eat fruit and veggies.
Hello, my name is Rod Barnett.
I'm Troy Gwynn.
And we are your genial co-hosts for NashyCast, the podcast about the films of Paul Naschy. If you don't know who Paul Naschy is, you need to learn.
Spanish horror icon, writer, director, actor, makeup artist.
He is all of these things and more. Paul Naschy, one of the greatest genre filmmakers of all time. Do titles like Horror Rises from the Tomb,
Vengeance of the Mummy, Werewolf Shadow,
House of Psychotic Women,
Blue Eyes of the Broken Doll,
Mark of the Werewolf make you want to see more?
watch the film, then come hear our stunning, brilliant commentary.
Stunning and brilliant. That's us. Think that's too egotistical? Think that sounds silly? Think we come off as assholes?
Look, if nothing else, let us tell you this. Blood, nudity, beautiful women, werewolves and turtlenecks.
Nipples. Lots of nipples. Both male and female. Yeah. I don't know if anybody's going to want to listen to us after this, man. Find us at The Bloody Pit of Rod, or
You can subscribe to us on iTunes.
give us a listen. And if we scare you too much, well, maybe Spanish horror is not your thing. I don't know.
Cinema Inferior.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Join Sparkle City Film the SARS for Cinema Inferior. We only review the best horror and sci-fi movies.
It puts the B in B-movie, that's for sure.
As a result, we take the show seriously, and our approach is very sober.
Yeah, I was thinking about playing Nine from Outer Space, man. I had to crack a Coors Light on that one.
We appreciate our audience and respect your input.
You know what? I'm sorry, but you're all wrong, and you should burn in hell.
And in return, we bask in the adulation of our adoring fans.
You know what? Fuck your podcast.
So join us bi-weekly for the show. Hurry home. And don't forget the plot giveaway. The clock is ticking. It's almost time.
Cinema Inferior.
Available on Stitcher, iTunes, at cinemainferior.com, and a member of the Tangent Bound Network. 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 And a member of the Tangent Bound Network.